Channel 10.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. You can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/channel10. There you will have over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. I'm currently listening to The Martian by Andy Weir. It's the book that the movie The Martian is based off of, and it's great. If you've never listened to an audiobook, definitely check that out. And for all my hip-hop heads who are also into self-improvement, I also recommend The 50th Law by 50 Cent and Robert Greene, narrated by the authors themselves. So definitely go check those out at audibletrial.com/channel10. Also, you can support the podcast just by shopping on Amazon at no cost to you. All you have to do is go to channel10podcast.com and click on the Amazon link at the top, and anything that you purchase will get a little kickback off at no cost to you. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, support. One last thing, make sure you rate, subscribe, and comment on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. That way, our podcast gets higher in the rankings, and we can gain a bigger audience, bring you bigger guests, and keep giving you this great content that we do week after week. With that, let's get into the show.
And we used to think that people would catch on. But if you're not from Queens, if you don't got Time Warner or whatever, like, well, I didn't know that.
Yo, word up, man. It's a different channel, son. Word up, on, man. Word up, watch the channel, son. Different plane now, man.
It's all good.
Word up, all good, baby, in every hood, son. Word up, yo.
CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas, that's grown men. Bold face, gather your face. Stay in place, yo, crime lace. Cast more beef than Scarface. CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas, that's grown men. Bold face, gather your face. Stay in place, yo.
Call is now being recorded.
Yo, hello?
Hey, what's going on, GemStones?
What up?
Hey, man, it's definitely an honor to speak to you, man.
Man, vice versa, man. What's the deal, man?
That's what's up. Well, I'm our chick from the Channel 10 podcast, and I have a Sun God Superior on the line, and we just wanted to just ask you some questions, just to basically get started off with, the beginning of how you got started, and where you're from and everything, and all your different projects and your transition through hip hop and life and just everything in general.
Okay, so my name is GemStones, formerly known as Gemini.
Right.
From the Lupe Fiasco camp, 1st and 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing music my whole life. I started rapping when I was in 3rd grade. I've been doing it ever since. I met Lupe in 2001, right after high school. At the time, he wasn't, Lupe Fiasco. He was Lupe Fiasco, trying to be Lupe Fiasco. He was just Lupe, who I knew him as. I was signed to his company from 01 up to 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was signed with Lupe from 01 to 2011. I did both his projects. Starting off, I did his Food and Liquor project. I did all the singing on Food and Liquor.
I remember.
And the second project, which was the Cool, I rapped on that project. I did some writing, and I did some singing on that project. We shared ideas together on that project, and the Cool was a success.
Let's take it back to even before you met Lupe. How did you first get introduced into hip hop, and who were some of your early influences?
Well, the first time I started rapping, it was this guy named Jelani. He was a teenager on my grandmother's block. I was like in 3rd grade. He would be selling drugs outside. And in between selling drugs, waiting for his next drug sale, he would be rapping, freestyling. And this little kid, I would walk up to him to listen to him rap, and I'd be soaking it up like, whoa, I was amused by it. And I knew what I wanted to do when I heard him. I'm like, this is what I want to do. I would go home, I would pick up a pen, I would try to write and emulate him, take his style. I'm a little kid, though. At that time, I didn't know that's what I really, really wanted to do, but I was just inspired by it. I'm like, whoa. And then I saw that I was kind of good at it, and I kept rapping. I continued rapping. I never stopped. I was inspired at the time when I was a kid in 3rd grade. The West Coast had it on lock out there in California. So I was inspired by artists such as like MC8, Spice One, who else was it? Ice Cube at the time, 8 Ball and MJG. They was doing their thing down south. But Spice One was my favorite rapper. I really wasn't into East Coast rap at the time. Snoop Doggy Dogg, when he dropped Doggy Style back then. Dr. Dre, The Chronic. I was a kid inspired by all of that. It wasn't until 1995 or 94, 95. It was 95 when I was inspired by East Coast rap because Biggie released a project. It was called Ready to Die.
Right.
And when I heard that kid, I was like, whoa, who is this? And then I liked the way it was something about the East Coast, the way they dressed. At this time, baggy jeans was in, Timberland boots, cross color, vests. Everybody's wearing vests. You know what I'm saying? I was just picking up on the culture, and I'm like, this is fresh. And there was these dudes called Bad Boy. I saw Puff Daddy, and I was already into R&B music. And Puff Daddy just connected because my favorite R&B group was Jodeci, and come to find out, he was the A&R for Jodeci.
Right.
And then he later, his artist was Biggie, so it all made sense. You know, he was producing for Mary J. Blige and Jodeci and Uptown MCA. And like I said, at that time, that's when R&B music was in heavy.
Yeah.
And groups like Boys to Men and all of that, and hip-hop was forming. And everybody was getting these styles, and it was just growing. The art of hip-hop, the culture was just expanding. I was a kid soaking it all up. And I'm growing up, and I'm using my ink pen at the time. I'm a rapper, and I'm just didn't know I knew how to sing back then, but I wanted to be a singer too, but didn't know I really had the gift.
Right.
So I knew I had the gift in about 5th grade. I remember this was before Big, but I knew I had the gift in 5th. Had it because I was in little rap groups with my cousins. We was young though, but I took it serious. So that's what I was inspired by growing up. I didn't get inspired. Well, right after Biggie came Tupac. And then I was in love with Tupac more than Biggie. Me Against the World and all those albums. I really wasn't into Tupacalypse Now and all of that.
Yeah.
But when he dropped Me Against the World, he had my ear. And then his other records after that. And then really when he dropped All Eyes on Me, I was a total fan.
Yeah.
But then Biggie released Life After Death, and Biggie became my favorite rapper after that. Because his wittiness, he was witty and he was like lyrical. Not saying Pac wasn't, but he wasn't as lyrical as Biggie. Pac was more passion, and he was more than just a rapper to me. You know what I'm saying? Like his interviews, Pac gave the best interviews I ever saw in my life.
Yeah.
Pac was more than just a rapper. He brought so much more to the table, you know what I'm saying? But just as spitting bars, bar for bar, like lyrical bars, metaphors, I gave it to Biggie. But then Pac was for the passion and the heartfelt. And so, bam, I'm inspired. That's what inspired me.
Now, did you have any, like back in those days, did you have any rap names before Gemini?
Yes, I did.
Okay, will you be willing to share?
Okay, I believe my. I think my first rap name was like. I had a few of them. Oh my God. My rap name was Kool-Aid.
Oh wow.
Kool-Aid. Wow, and I'm thinking about it right now. I was writing the word Kool-Aid over. I don't even know why I was Kool-Aid. I think the way the word Kool-Aid, because I know how to draw. And I think the way the word Kool-Aid was on the Kool-Aid package looked it cool to me back in the day. And I'm like, yeah, my name gonna be Kool-Aid because I got flavor. Yeah. So I was a little kid running around calling myself Kool-Aid. And then I remember calling myself later, my name gonna be Bad Luck. I started calling myself Bad Luck. What's your name? Yeah, my name Bad Luck. Yeah. So that was when hardcore hip hop was in. It was about hardcore hip hop. You know, hip hop artists having bats in their hand when Naughty by Nature was out, swinging the bat and machetes in their hands with that. You know, just hard kicking a boot, a steel toe boot. It was like hardcore hip hop. So you had to think of a hardcore name. I'm like, I can't be having Kool-Aid. Nah. I'm like, yeah, Bad Luck. So then my name was Bad Luck. Then it was Marky G, because my real name is Demarco. So it was Marky G. And, those were the names. Those are my names.
So while you were growing up in Chicago, how much did music have an influence or an impact on you wanting to sing?
Wait, what did you say?
How much did house music have an influence on how you went about doing music? You know, especially with R&B and wanting to sing.
Well, as a kid, house music was some of the first music that I was introduced to. The Chicago house music.
Right.
As a little kid, we would go outside, and there was this girl named Lori who stayed down the street from us. And everybody, this is before all the good violence, this was around the time when you could actually hang on your front porch, and the police wouldn't mess with you, and you didn't have to worry about somebody driving up the block shooting. I was a kid. It was this girl named Lori, and every night, she was a teenager, she would come outside, and all the teenagers would be in front of Lori's house. She would bring her she had like this big, stupid, dumb boom box. You remember them boom boxes from like the 80s? Them big gray ones, like them big dumb ones that dudes used to walk down the street with them on their shoulders?
Yeah, they call them ghetto blasters.
Okay, Lori would bring one of those out every night and sit it on her front porch. And she would play these tapes. It was nothing but house music. And everybody would be in front of Lori's house learning the new dance moves, like the Tom and Jerry, the Fila, to these house songs. They would be dancing to house songs. This is before Jodeci. For me, this was before Jodeci. This was before rap music. That actually was the first that was the first genre of music that I was introduced to, actually, house music. So my early days was nothing but, my childhood was nothing but house music. The second genre of music I was introduced to, that I was into, was R&B. Of course, on Saturday mornings, you wake up, your mom's cleaning up the crib, she playing them Dusty records. Mom's cleaning up on Saturday morning with the record player spinning, but I wasn't into that music. It was R&B that I got into second after house music. So I don't think, I don't want to say that I implemented house music in my sound, but I will say that house, being that it was, the seed was planted, that's the music seed that was planted in me that opened the doors for me to accept all other genres of music. Because I listened to house music. I would go down Lori's house every night and watch them dance. I even wanted to be in a dance group. I just couldn't dance, so I had to sit on the porch and watch everybody else dance. Plus, I was too small. I'm 6 years old. I'm 6'7".
Mm.
8. This is going on the age of 8, 7. Well, no, not 8. 7, 6. At the latest, 6 on down. 7, 6, 5. Yep, 7, 6, 5, and like 4. So 4 through 7, it was all house music for me.
Okay. Now, we recently did an interview with Mateo Urella, and he's a writer, and he wrote a book about Bone Thugs and Harmony, and we spoke about, you know, Midwestern hip hop, and just about how, like, in the Midwest, there's a lot of, like, fast rap, and there's a lot of melody in the rap, too. So you look at, you know, people like Bone Thugs, and you have, like, the Do or Dies and the Twisters and things like that. And, you know, Chicago has a you know, a rich hip-hop culture when it comes to that type of rapping. And then listening to you, you know, of course, with your singing and in your rap style and the way that you flow, I was wondering how much of that impacted you as well, if at all.
100%. 150 billion%. At one point in time in life, Bone Thugs and Harmony, when they dropped that, it's the thuggish, ruggish ball.
Yeah.
When that hit the scene, I had never heard nothing like that in my life. I'm like, what is this? Who is this? It's Eazy-E's group. I was in love. I was in love, bro. I thought I was Bone. And you gotta know, Bone was a whole group. I thought I was a whole group by myself. My favorite rapper from Bone was Busy Bone. That was the favorite one. I used to go home and write I used to press play. I bought the album, Creeping on the Come Up. The first album, I bought it. I used to sit down and write the lyrics out. Me and my sister used to have a competition who could learn a Bone song first. I would sit and write their lyrics out, and we would be spitting Bone. I knew all their songs. I could still spit Bone songs to you right now, verses. Bone, and then I didn't get up on Twista. I been knew who Twista was, but I didn't embody Twista and become a fan until later. But for me, it was Bone Thugs and Harmony, man. Them dudes was something else. And then Twista was just a whole nother something by himself. Like, he was that dude. Twista is amazing. He's to me personally, Twista's in my top 5.
And so I guess coming from all those influences, and you know, when you finally decided on the name Gemini, and like how did that all come about, and what was the meaning behind it?
So at this time, I'm knowing how to rap. I've discovered I know how to sing. But I got so much of a love for rap, and I knew I was so good at rapping. But at the time, I was so good in singing. My voice back then was better than it is now. And I'm like, I didn't know what to do with, like, today I'm an R&B dude. When I'm around my homies, I'm a rapper. But when I'm around the girls, like, literally, I be around the women, I'll be singing love songs. I'm singing Jodeci and R. Kelly to the girls. I'm not even saying I'm a rapper. I'm dressed like an R&B dude. And when I get around my homies, I'm rapping bars. But at the time, I didn't know how to make them both make a marriage. I didn't know how to make it make sense. So I'm like, I don't want to leave rap alone just to be a singer, because it was really hard. It was a hard decision. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll just leave singing alone. Then I left singing alone for a minute and was rapping. Then I left rap alone and jumped in a singing group. But I still was rapping. And then one day, I'm like, I'm doing both. And I'm like, I'm a Gemini, right? So I'm like, yo, that's what I just call myself. My rap name will be Gemini. A Gemini got split personalities. Then I was like, okay, I know how I'm going to do it. When I'm singing, the singing will be the good side of me, because Gemini got a good side, bad side. The singing will be the good side of me. I'll be like this, the pretty boy, Jodeci, Drew Hills, singing notes to the ladies. And then the bad side of me would just be the rap. I'd be rapping this hip-hop hardcore. I'm trying to find a way to make it work. So I came up with the name, hey, just call yourself Gemini. And if anybody asks you why you call yourself Gemini, let them know. I'm a real Gemini. Geminis have split personalities, two sides. One of my personalities is singing, the other is rap. So it works for me, and it began. I ran with that. That was the last name. After I got with Lupe, I almost got sued for having the name Gemini. Because now we're doing legal stuff. It's for real now. We not just in the hood rapping or rapping at talent shows now. It's the real thing now. We on tour. And I ain't trying to fast forward, but I just want to give how the name did, the change.
Right.
Somebody came forth and was like, yo, I own the name Gemini. And if dude don't change his name, I'm finna file whatever he was going to file. And it was going to be big trouble. So the lawyer kept reaching out like, you got to change your name, change your name. Now, my name was Gemini, but nobody called me. Everybody called me Gemini, but when people get to know you, they start calling you other things. So people was calling me Jim. Instead of calling me Gemini, they like, what up, Jim? Other people was calling me Jim Star. What up, Jim Star? Jimineezy, because the Easies came in. What up for Shizzle, my Nizzle, and all of what's up? This one guy was like, I'm going to call you GemStones. His name was Handy. He was like, I ain't calling you Gemini. I'm calling you GemStones. I'm like, all right, no doubt. And every time he'd see me, he'd be like, what up, GemStones? And then we'd be around people, and he'd be like, GemStones. And then everybody just started calling me GemStones. Now, my name was still Gemini at the time, though. GemStones caught, though. Now, you got Lupe and everybody else calling me GemStones now. And my name is Gemini. So when it was time for the name change, she was like, you got to change Gemini. Do you have any other names you want to change it to? I'm like, GemStones probably? She's like, oh, yeah. So, you know, she was even called, the lawyer was even calling me GemStones. GemStones, do you have anything you want to change from Gemini? You just said it. She's like, yeah, silly me. So we changed it from Gemini, and it was officially GemStones. And now that I'm GemStones, nobody who knows me closely don't even call me GemStones. They call me Stones. Nobody ever use your whole name. Like if your name is Michael, they're going to call you Mike.
Right.
Steven, they're going to call you Steve. Kelly, what up, Kel? So now everybody call me Stones. Like, Stones, what up? Like, Lou called me Stones. Stones, what's going on? And the only people who call me GemStones is the people who don't really know me personally. They'll be like, GemStones, what's going on? I'll be like, hey, what's going on? So that's how the name changed.
Now, do you think your name still would be Gemini if it wasn't for that the whole legal issue?
Nah, nope. Because I didn't. After Handy and everybody started calling me Stones, I liked it the way Stones. I liked the way Stones sounded. Everybody was in the hood and everybody was calling me Stones. Even though, like I said on paper, it was Gemini. The CD said Gemini, but everybody calling me Stones. And they'd be like, yo, who is Stones? Who is GemStone? Gemini. Oh, Gemini? Why y'all call him GemStone? Gem. So, yeah, it was about to change anyway.
Okay. Now before you met Lupe, did you know that you could make it before then? And did you have those type of aspirations of doing it, or?
Of course. Yep. Like I said, that's why I told you I met Lupe when he was just Lupe. He wasn't.
Right.
We were on different sides of the world, but still in Chicago. But he was working his number to get in the game, and I was working my number to get in the game. We just happened to cross paths. He was on the west side putting in his work to get on, and I was on the south side putting in just as much as work as he was putting in on the west side to make it big. We just happened to cross paths, and we was on the same vibration, and I guess it sped the process up.
So before you really hooked up with Lupe, were you involved with any other local labels in Chicago during that time before you really linked up with Lupe?
Yeah. I was I used to mess with this label called Mind Blown. Productions.
Mm-hmm.
It's a label called Mind Blowing. It was like a little studio on the low end somewhere on like 40 somewhere. This dude named Mike and this dude named Lee. They had this studio, and it was man, I was going down there recording. I actually would love to get my hands on some of those, my early recordings. They have them. I don't know where they at, though. I would love to hit them early records I did in my youth. Because you got to know, I'm like 20 years old recording these songs down in the studio. I would love to hear what my voice sounds like, just the youth in my voice. I would love to hear those songs right now, man. So I used to record at the studio called Mind Blowing. There was like a bunch of producers down there. I remember this dude named Psycho. He was Psycho Capone was his name. He was that boy was one of the coldest producers I had ever heard. Boy was talented. Yeah, and after that, I ran into Will Smith before I met Lupe.
Wow.
Yeah, I had ran into Will Smith, trying to get signed with him. But then at the end of that, Will Smith didn't say it, but one of the producers who handled the music department for Overbrook Entertainment told me that they felt as if he felt as if I didn't have what it took to be a star. So they weren't going to sign me. And then I later ran into him later on in life at the red carpet BET Awards.
Wow.
He met me again, and he told me I hung with them for like 5 days. I was with this dude named Charlie Mack. If you look Charlie Mack's name up, like, this dude is huge. I didn't even know who Charlie Mack was at the time. Charlie Mack is probably one of the biggest names that people don't know about in the music industry. His name is Charlie Mack.
I think I heard Kanye shout him out once or twice, maybe.
Listen, Mike, he's one of the biggest. When you get a chance, just type in Charlie Mack. And you're going to be like, whoa, this dude is plugged. Any name you can name in the industry, Charlie Mack. I came across Charlie Mack. And Charlie Mack, he's Will Smith's best friend, but he was also Will Smith's manager. I don't know if he's still managing Will Smith. I think he still manages him. I don't know. But at the time when I met him, he thought I was dope. I was like, man, dope. And he's like, yo, we gonna call this producing. We're gonna see what the producer think. The producer heard me. He was like, yo, I hung with Charlie Mack and Will Smith and them for 5 days. I was hanging out with them 5 days. Moms and them was happy. It was like, oh, my baby finna get signed. He's finna be millionaire. Oh, he's hanging with Will Smith. They had limousines coming to pick me up, the whole nine. Dude flew in from Philly. He heard me. He told Charlie Mack, and Charlie Mack related the message to me. So I'm like, yo, on the last day they was in Chicago, I'm like, so what's up, Charlie? Man, Mack, what's good, man? Are y'all gonna sign me, man, or what? And then Charlie was like, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, kid. Omar said he feels as if though you don't have what it takes to be a star. I said, what? I was crushed. Fast forward, that was 2001. Fast forward to 2007. Y'all ever heard of Bryce Wilson?
The name sounds familiar.
The name sounds familiar.
Okay. He's with Groove Theory. It was this group called Groove Theory.
Right, yeah.
He used to date Tony Braxton. Like, Bryce Wilson is huge. He was a model. Bryce Wilson is a model. He was in like all those movies. Like, he's a producer. Bryce Wilson is big. Records on Beyonce, the whole nine. Bryce Wilson is huge, right? So after I linked up with First and 15th, I met Bryce. Bryce was like my big brother. So I see Bryce down at the BET Awards, right? This 07. Bryce is like, yo, Stones. I'm like, what? He's like, yo, son, I got somebody I want you to meet, yo. I got somebody I want you to meet. I'm like, all right, cool. Whatever. So after the BET Awards is over, because that was the idea at the red carpet. We went to an Adidas party later. I was at this Adidas party, and Bryce was like, yo, Stone, I got somebody I want you to meet. I'm like, oh, God, let me meet this person, because he was amped. So we at this party, Bryce walked me to the back of this Adidas, this store we were in. It was packed with celebrities. And as we walked up, the dude had his back turned, right? And then Bryce was like, yo, dude turned around. I didn't hear him call his name. He was like, yo, remember I was telling you my little brother, GemStones? And he was like, yeah. He was like, he is right now. Dude turned around. Tell me why I was Omar, who told me in 2001 I didn't have what it took to be a star. Now, you have to know Omar looked up to Bryce Wilson, because everybody know who Bryce is in the game. And Bryce is telling him, my little brother, but he didn't know Gemini. He knew me as Gemini, or may probably even forgot about me. Bryce was calling me GemStones. Dude turned around and looked like he saw a ghost. Bryce was like, wait, y'all know each other? I'm like, I did a little smirk. I'm just like, nah, I don't know him. So I shook my hand. I was like, nice to meet you. He's like, nice to meet you. And I just faded back off into the crowd with all the rest of the people. Me and Lupe finished kicking. And you got to know, that year, Lupe was one of the biggest artists at that time. So we were like with the who's. But it was just funny. That's why it's just good to stay believing in yourself and never give up on your dreams, no matter what people say. Because the next time I saw that man, he met me at the BT party. Being introduced by somebody he looked up to.
That's crazy. That's just that just shows like the full circle of life, how everything comes back around sometimes.
Wow. And wow, did I get a smack in the face from Charlie Mack too, though. I had mine too. Because Charlie Mack told me that day, he said, Stones? No, he said, Gemini. He said, listen to me, man, don't be discouraged. Who do you want to sign with? You name a label, and I will get you signed to any label you want. I was heartbroken. I wanted to sign with them. He said, it ain't over yet. I'm getting ready to leave and go back to Philly. Mind you, I told you, I didn't know who Charlie was at the time. I didn't know. I'm sorry. Internet wasn't in like that. He said, I'm working on this artist. I forgot this artist's name. She was with Missy Elliott, and he named all these people, and I saw it all come to pass before my eyes. I forgot that lady's name. She was with Timbaland them.
Talking about
Missy
Tweet?
Elliott. Not Tweet. It was a hip-hop lady. She had red hair. Miss J.
Yeah.
Miss J. He was like, I got an artist named Miss J. She was a hip-hop girl.
Yeah.
Wore a different color hair.
Yep.
He was like, yo, I had never heard of it at the time. He was like, it's an artist. My artist name is Miss J. And he was naming these different artists. But at this time, I'm like, man, whatever. He was like, all I need you to do for me, I'm finna leave. You go in the studio and just record 3 songs. And just get me 3 songs. I looked that man in his face and said, okay. When he left, man, I never went in the studio and recorded no songs for him. And if I ever come across his path again, I'm going to apologize and tell him. But I later saw Miss Jade come out, and she was doing the charts. I said, this is the girl Charlie Mack was telling me about. And then all them other artists, I remember he was telling me about, it was other artists, and I'm watching them come to pass, right? But at this time, I come across Lupe, and we started working. So I really didn't care about what was going on because we had our own thing.
Right.
Come to find out later who Charlie Mack really was. And in 2015, when you look it up, man, Charlie Mack is responsible for 75% of the careers of almost everybody you see in hip-hop today. Charlie Mack is. I be reaching out to him, and he does not respond to me. He see me reaching out to him, but he won't respond. And I remember me and Charlie Mack met in 2001. I remember after the BET Awards, and I was 07, I just reached out to him to see that he remembered me. I hadn't spoke to him. I called his number, and I'm like, yo, Mac, what's good? He's like, what's up? I'm like, this Gemini. Like, you know who this is? He's like, yeah, I know exactly who this is. He's like, yeah, I'm still waiting on my 3 songs you never sent me. And I'm like, I'm going to get them to you. He's like, yeah, I'm still waiting. And we got off the phone, and I never heard from him again. But he let me know that and this was 2007 or 8. He like, dude, I remember what I'm waiting on my songs from 2001. Now I'm not rocking with Lupe no more. I get independent, doing my own thing. I'm like, I went through a time in life where I was trying to just reach out to find some connections to do what I needed to do. But I burnt my bridge with Charlie Mack, and he's connected to Puffy, Jay, everybody. And he looked at me as one of the best artists. And when I tried to reach back out to him, it was too late. I had burnt my bridge. So it came back around full circle on me, too.
Man, that's heavy right there. So you said that you weren't really focused on everything else. You were focused on what you and Lupe had building. So how did you guys start to build up First and 15th, and how did all of that come into fruition?
We just started working, man. After me and Lupe met each other in 01, we was at a studio session. This kid named Arrogant at the time. His name was Arrogant from Chicago. He introduced me to Lou. I like Lupe music. I liked his sound, his rap. Lupe knew I could rap when he heard me. This was before the egos, and we was just 2 kids, man, just with a dream. And shared the same love. I'm like, yo, where you be recording that? I record here. Oh, let me hear your song. Let me hear yours. And it was like that. Them humble beginnings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wasn't no names involved. It wasn't no names involved. It was just humble. We just shared the love for hip-hop together. After that, it was history, man. Before I knew it, a month later, I was signed to his company. I found out he was headed in the same direction I was trying to go. And that's why I signed with him. And my life changed after that. And we both just started working together. I learned how to complete songs. I learned a lot being signed over there with Lupe. And we just started making music. Nobody knew who we was. We was doing hip-hop music, but gangsta rap was in at the time. And we waited our turn, man. We waited our turn. Jay-Z was a part of Down With Us.
I remember,
when he come to Chicago, Jay would show us love, and we still waited our turn. We waited our turn. We watched everybody get on. We watched everybody get famous. But we just stayed working together. We was working on our little mixtapes, the Fahrenheit mixtapes, which wasn't huge at the time because people were sleeping on lyrics at the time. And we was just working, man. Then we dropped it out of the blue. Next thing you know, we doing his album in 06.
Right.
5 years later, it's an album out with my name on it in record stores. That was incredible to me. I'm like, I made it, mama. Mama, I made it a video, kick push. Fast forwarded. Look, I'm at the end of the video holding my daughter. We made it, kick push. The producer who did it is my friend.
And you were singing on Pressure with Jay-Z, right?
Exactly. Listen, brother, it was, you couldn't have, we had, in my mind, we made it. We hanging with Jay-Z, Kanye coming over the house. Before, and these are the humble beginners, man.
Yeah. Now, I remember, was it true that Jay-Z was trying to sign Lupe to Rockefeller and he turned it down?
Yep.
But then Jay-Z executive produced the first album?
Exactly how it went. And Lou told Jay, you know, it's not a good look to sign to you because I'm in the same position you were in when you did Reasonable Doubt. I got my own company. It doesn't make sense for me to sign with you and I got my own company. I'm finna blow anyway. So why would I sign to you and leave my company alone?
And Jay-Z respected that.
Yeah. No, Jay-Z was hurt.
Oh.
Because when Jay-Z found out that First and 15th was going through Atlantic, we took a production label deal. Atlantic signed First and 15th to a label deal. At the same time, Jay-Z was trying to sign Lou. And when he heard the news, it was like, yo, you know, it came to cross J desk like, yo, you know, Lou signed with. He's like, nah. He called Chill like, yo, y'all signed with Atlantic? Chill like, yeah. He's like, oh, come on, man, what? And they just took it behind his back and just did what was best. And after that, history began, and it was made.
Now, I guess the legend behind First and 15th, it kind of revolves partially around Chili, and I was wondering what your relationship with him is or was.
Chili was the brains behind the entire operation. Lou was just the face. You know how y'all hear about First and 15th and everybody think it's Lupe?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, brother, it wasn't Lupe at all. Lou was just the ink pen. He was just the voice to spit lyrics. Everything that y'all saw happen was Chili, if that makes any sense. The BET Awards, Chili. Jay-Z, Chili. Kanye situation, Chili. Every move that you ever seen Lupe make was because of Chili, Charles Patton. He was the brains behind the operation. The BET Awards, the first album coming out when it did, the label deal, that was all the Jay-Z cosign. That wasn't Lou who did that. That was Chili.
So how did Chili go about getting these connections with people like Kanye and Jay-Z?
Chili just been plugged in the game forever. He was plugged in, but at the time, Kanye wasn't big. Kanye was a local on the scene, man, in Chicago.
Yeah, I remember he used to open up for Talib Kweli.
Look, you didn't hear about Kanye until through the wire. Remember that song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first time y'all heard about Kanye West. Kanye had been in Chicago grinding. Y'all didn't hear about Kanye until he signed his deal with Rockefeller, when they put that chain on him. But before that, y'all didn't know about Kanye before that.
Yeah, I think the first time I heard Kanye was either on the State Property Hook or on the Blueprint 2 where he spit a verse, and I don't think his name was credited on there.
There you go. That was the Jay-Z situation.
Yeah.
Now you got to know Kanye was rocking with us before that. Not signed with us, but just the whole Chicago music scene. Then his opportunity came, and he went with Rockefeller. He gone. So it wasn't like how did y'all rock with Kanye? Because Kanye wasn't Kanye at the time. He was just, oh, that's Kanye.
Right.
Now he's Kanye.
Now y'all came in. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, now he's Yeezy. He's Jesus now. He's a multi-million-dollar man now. At the time, Kanye was just giving his beat CDs away.
Yeah. Now you came in the aftermath of I guess the 2003 rise of 50 Cent and like, you know, the whole gangster hardcore hip hop and everything like that. And I remember when Lupe first came up with Kick Push, people were saying that it's a breath of fresh air and everything like that. So when it comes to putting a message into hip hop and everything like that, how much of that was integral into you know, I guess the business plan of First and 15th and how Lupe was going to be marketed and everything like that?
Well, when Lou first started off, he was doing gangster rap. We both was doing gangster rap in the beginning.
Yeah, I had some old like unreleased stuff where he was like spitting about guns and stuff.
Yeah, it was all about guns. Everything wasn't conscious then, man. We was just going with the flow, but it was hip hop.
Right.
It was all about metaphors and punchlines, man. Honestly, it was actually more sounding like Fabulous, and you know, when Mace was out and the punchline rap was in. You know, it was just about the backpack rap and hip hop and murder move was when the battle raps was going on. When DJ Clue was dropping the mixtapes.
Right.
It was really that rap. You know what I'm saying? You just talk about your chain and your ice, and you know that's what was going on back then. But then as time progressed, you know, behind the scenes, you know, me and Lou used to talk all the time. And I would always tell Lou, these ain't the type of records I really want to make, you know. And me and Lou would have deep conversations. The music was coming out saying one thing, but who we were was something else. But I always knew Lou was the first up to bat. You know what I'm saying? I knew Lou was coming out the bat, and I was next behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing my gangster rap. Lou was more of he was coming out as the more lyrical kid with the punchlines and yeah, son, backpack, slack, black. You know what I'm saying? Chain so big, this, that, black. You know what I'm saying? That's who Lou was at the time. I was more of the hardcore, shoot 'em up, Gemini. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third. So, but as time progressed, man, and we was talking and life began to shape us and things happened, we began to implement our real life, putting it on the paper. And by the time Food and Liquor came out, his whole message was switched up.
Now I remember. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So when Food and Liquor came out, because I know like around the time of the Cool, you know, like both you and Lupe were like going through certain, you know, personal things that were going. Was there like an event that both you and Lupe shared around the time of Food and Liquor?
You said, was there an event that we both shared?
Yeah, you know, maybe someone that you guys were both close to passing away, or you know, something traumatic that happened during that time that made you guys change.
Chili got locked up. That was a big stab. That was a big blow we took.
Mm-hmm.
Chili got locked up, man. That was a big blow. Yeah, Chill got knocked. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, he got locked up. So you know, chop the head, the body will fall. He was the head. You know what I'm saying? So that was a big blow that we took. You know what I'm saying? So that was the first big thing.
Now, I remember when Food and Liquor dropped, I remember the bootleg dropped first. And I think that might have been, I think I heard the first two Fahrenheit mixtapes. And then when the bootleg dropped, that's when I first really heard Lupe, because somebody like, you know, gave it to me. And I remember being on the bus. I was in Philly at the time for some reason. I was coming back and I listened to it on the bus. And I was like, oh man, this is crazy. And then when the album came out, I went and got it. And that's how I remember you being on the hook with Jay-Z on the Pressure record. And I was just wondering, like, I remember it being a big deal at the time, that album leaking and how much had to be changed because of it. And, you know, certain records were taken off and certain ones were putting on. And I was wondering how much that affected everybody in the camp.
Well, it didn't affect us hard, man. That was the label, man. I believe that was that label. Honestly, that was the label did that, man. They was tired of playing. They was anticipating. They wanted to know what this kid was about to do. They leaked that themselves, man. You know how these labels do, man. We dealing with a big multi-million-dollar company here. Come on, man. Who leaked the album? They the only ones who had it. To get the other end of your money, you got to turn that blade. You have to turn the album in.
Right.
The album get turned in, it's done. Then all of a sudden, the album leak. Oops, who did it? Next morning, your album everywhere. And it was like, but like Lou was saying, man, I'm just happy it's out, and I'm getting some good replies. Everybody like it. Now let's go back in, change a couple songs up, boom. But the label was more about money. They was like, we tired of waiting. We ain't finna make, because remember, everybody remember it became a thing that everybody's album would be getting leaked.
Yeah.
Oh, you heard such and such album just leaked. Yo, you heard Jim Jones album leaked. Cameron new album leaked. People start leaking their own albums, man.
Yeah, and it was real dope around that time. And then so I remember, if I remember correctly, I'm trying to get the chronology right. So I remember the first two Fahrenheit mixtapes, and then was it the album, and then the third one, and then yours was the fourth one?
I couldn't tell you. Don't make me lie to you. I just remember we was working and doing them Fahrenheit mixtapes. I just remember I dropped Untamed Beast after Lupe's album.
Okay, yeah. That was the fourth Fahrenheit.
Yeah, because I remember putting inside of my CD, it was a picture of Lupe's album saying, "Go get, if you don't have his Food and Liquor, go get it." Inside of my CD. So yeah, it came after him.
Okay, yeah, and then I remember when the Cool dropped. I actually bought the Cool. I remember I bought the Cool. What was it? Virgin Music Store when it was still in New York. I bought it the day it came out. I was in New York that day, and I got it. And just the way you and Lupe went back to back on certain tracks and everything like that was just crazy. And then the song for Dumb It Down, just your involvement and all that. Like, how was that time for you and everything?
That was crazy, man, because the Dumb It Down was actually called Space Traveling. And Lou had turned the song in, and Atlantic shot that record down. And then Lupe called me and was like, "Stones, man, we got to get this record done, man, because Atlantic shot it down." And I went in the studio with Lou. I was with my cousin, Pork Chop, at the time. And I was telling Lou, like, "Man, you need to dumb it down, G. You be going over people's heads, bro. Like, that's why they turned this record down. People don't be understanding you." And then it was like, light bulb, boom. And it was like, "You got to dumb it down." Yeah, you going over, and I was just telling them what the world thought about it. People telling me they don't feel you, because people was saying, "I don't really like dude." I would be trying to put people on him, but he was so over people's heads, people was calling him whack. But I knew he was far from whack.
Yeah.
And it just turned into a dope record, and it became the first street single off the album, Dumb It Down.
And I was gonna say, I think it's the perfect balance between y'all two, because, like, y'all both were very lyrical, but sometimes his metaphors and everything might go over your head, but you were lyrical with it, but I was more street. I had more of a street sound. Yeah, and it like hit you right there in that moment, but still you could break down the words because of the syllables that you were using, and the flow that you were using was just so dope.
Yep. And Lupe had the flow that it was like, man, you might catch his next week, but you like, did he just say, "Oh my God, yo, this dude"? So yeah, it was a balance, man. It was a dope balance, man. It was
And you mentioned doing some writing, and with the whole thing in hip hop right now, with the whole ghostwriting controversy with Drake and everything like that, I was wondering, what was your involvement in terms of writing, or did you like throw Lupe some lines or anything like that during that time?
Yeah, I just did writing on the album. I never got credit for it, but I did writing. I did. It was certain songs I didn't get credit for, and there were songs I got credit for. On the album.
Now, did you write like whole verses or hooks or like the structure, or how did that work?
I don't know, man. It was just stuff I did writing for that I didn't get credit for. And it was stuff, that's the most I could tell you.
Okay, I understand.
So, so stuff I didn't get credit for, and there was stuff I got credit for. For example, I sung on Pressure.
Right.
You don't see my name.
Right.
Unless a person knew it was me or something like that, but my name ain't on there. I never understood, like, why, when it came out, why's my name not on here? It just said Lupe featuring Jay-Z. It doesn't say Lupe featuring Gemini and Jay-Z. My name wasn't on there. It was a few more songs I sung. I don't know if they gave me credit for Emperor soundtrack on the first album.
Oh, man.
I don't think they did.
Nah, see, it was a gang of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was, here we are now, entertainers, though.
So.
And but they did give me credit for what's the name of it. They just released a video for it. What's the name of that record he did? I'm Malcolm Westside, Gangsta Leaning, traded in his kufi for a new era.
Oh, man,
it just might be
okay. Yeah, I remember that. After all. Yeah.
Son, they gave me credit for that. on this, but I didn't get the real credit. Like, my name was on there, but I never got no royalties or nothing, any of that type stuff. So,
so
but
around,
no, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So around this time, you know, when everything happened with Chili, who took over the, you know, the label operations of First and Lupe did?
Nope. That's when Lupe blew up. Right after that, Chili went to jail, and hip hop changed. Then it was okay to wear your skinny jeans and wear your colorful big hat, wear your glasses. It was cool to be a nerd. Remember, Lupe ushered that in. Before that, it wasn't cool to be a nerd before Lupe.
Yeah, I was saying, like, you know, first you had the Kanye, then you had Lupe, and Lupe is what really made it cool for, like, now you got Kendricks and people like that, but Lupe was kind of like the blueprint for that whole
Nah, Lupe
aesthetic.
was definitely, I'm humbly saying this, but I will stand up. He was the blueprint. Kanye and Lou was in two different lanes. Yeah, Kanye dropped his, it all rolls down. But still, Kanye was wearing blazers. He was wearing like blazers with jeans. If y'all remember, he was wearing like the suit jackets with jeans and with the Louis Vuitton bag.
Yeah.
Kanye didn't have the backpack swag, like the small T-shirt, small skinny jeans with the little wallet hanging out. Like, that wasn't Kanye. When you saw Kick Push, Lupe had his hip-hop hoodie on. It was like two different styles.
Yeah.
Lupe ushered in that look. It was Lupe. Nobody was out doing that before Lupe. Nobody. He came in, was this kid Jay-Z was co-signing for, wearing glasses and a 5950 hat, skateboarding with his little T-shirt on. And it started from there. Then it began. Everybody was cool to start wearing purple shirts, to wear lime green shoes, because the nerd look came in. It was okay to put your plaid shirt on now, because you guys got to know, 50 Cent was running the game. And it was still, what up, blood? What up, gangsta? Gangsta rap was still hitting. Then Lupe came in with this. He's like, oh, it's coming back around to hip-hop now, where you didn't have to, nobody was, because remember, big chains and stuff was in. Then when Lupe hit the scene, he wasn't wearing chains. He was wearing this little bitty gold watch, little type Casio, whatever watch he was wearing. And everybody started wearing the watches. And everybody got on the little nerd stuff, and the Kid Robot gear got hot. And Lupe was wearing that heck out of that. And then it popped off, and with the hoodies with all the little designs on them. And I remember it like it was yesterday. And now you look up today, skinny jeans is hot. But you got to know, nobody was wearing skinny jeans. Lou was like the first rapper. If I'm saying the first rapper, Lou was the first rapper wearing skinny jeans.
Now, how did you feel about it when he started doing all of that? Were you with the skinny jeans too, or?
I mean, at the time I was 320 pounds, so I couldn't fit in them.
Right.
But we had the same mindset, because we roll every day. Me and Lou rolling together. Only thing I was able to wear was a fitted hat and some shoes. When we was going into the skateboard stores, all I could be like, yo, let me get them Air Max 95s right there. Lupe like, yo, let me get that T-shirt and them jeans, and I couldn't fit nothing but a fitted hat and some gym shoes.
That's another
but
thing
if I was able to,
that's another thing I want to talk to you too, because I heard you talking about your health and everything like that, and so I wanted to get into talk about that later on. But yeah, you were saying if you could fit into everything.
Yeah, I would have been. Listen, bro. Earlier on, I grew up on hip hop, embracing the culture. The way I was dressing, I was only dressing that way because I couldn't fit nothing but a T-shirt. So I'm wearing I'm like in 4Xs, on my way to 5X at the time. So I'm wearing braids. I was buying sunglasses too. So I was into sunglasses, the things that I could fit. So I was wearing like these coats. It's funny because I see Rick Ross wearing them and stuff now, and I be like, wow. The Carreras, these Porsche designs by Carrera that's hot now, but I was doing them at the time. That was all I could afford. Well, not afford, but all I could fit. Them was like $300 shades at the time. We on tour. Let me get those. He'll buy those, and, you know. But I'm like, man, I gotta lose weight, man.
And what's crazy is I remember Rick Ross talking about Carreras, and I always thought he was talking about a car, but now I know what he's talking about because
nah, those were sunglasses.
Oh man.
So around the time of the Cool, Lupe around the time of the Cool, Lupe was also taking care of like the whole operation with First and 15th as well as recording the album.
No, Chili was out, and at the end when it was done, that's when Chili got knocked.
Oh,
wait! I'm sorry, you said the Cool.
Yeah,
wait,
Cool.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Cool was the first album. Yeah. Right after the album was done, that's when Chili got knocked. So everything was done, and then Chili got knocked. Boom. So we couldn't stop, had to keep going. Everything was already set in place. The tools was already set up. It was just like, man, dude got knocked. Oh my God, just keep going, y'all. So we have to keep going.
Okay. And so, like with the Cool, you know, compared to Lupe's first album, the Cool is a rather dark album, and I always wondered, when you came out with the Testimony, which is a part of the First and 15th, series and everything, did you feel like the Testimony was kind of a continuation of the Cool?
Nope. The Testimony was stuff that me and Lou talked about that y'all didn't hear.
Okay.
The coolest stuff me and Lou talked about that y'all didn't hear before the Cool was even out, when we was riding in the car together, when we was hanging together. These are the conversations we was talking on. Even when Cats was putting out shoot 'em up rap. Pap, pap, pap. You want to see the pop, pop, sling rocks and drugs and gold chains and platinum and crystal. But behind closed doors, Testimony and the Cool is what we were talking about. Those were the not the albums. That's just what our minds were.
Now, the first mixtape, what was it? The
Testimony of GemStones?
No, the one.
One thing I want to tell y'all this. I'm on that. Who got iPhones?
Oh, we got.
Yeah, we're all Android people.
All right. Well, I'm saying that to say this phone just hit. It ain't no charger. It just hit the first red dot to say ding, 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 ding. So we got about some. Y'all better come on, because it's gonna die. I mean, I want to give y'all the whole story, but y'all better come on. I want it to die. I want y'all to get the meat, so y'all better come with it, because it's just ding, ding. It just dinged in my ear.
All right, cool. So, now you had a transition in between the first mixtape and the second one from the what was it, the Beast one, and then the Testimony of GemStones. And I remember looking at the interview where you were saying, like, how your first like you actually said that the original style that you came with wasn't really you, and the Testimony was really you. And I remember the song that really caught me was I think it was called Fly Away, where you were singing on the joint. And I was like, wow, like this is the same dude who was like the gangster dude from the Cool, but then you were singing Fly Away, so then that really brought me into the Testimony of GemStones. So I was wondering like what was part of that transition and that courageousness to really come out there and say, this wasn't me, this is really me, and this is what I have to offer?
Because I was tired of faking it, man. I'm like, because you got to know who I am, who y'all talking to on the phone right now is who I was in the beginning. And as in the beginning, I mean, as a rapper, you don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know. So I was only following the current.
Right.
Majority rappers who start off rapping, you start rapping about whatever rap style is hot at the time. That's what you start rapping. Like Chief Keef is hot right now. Whatever, if he not hot, whatever rap is hot, that's who the new generation rappers want to be like. Whoever are the hot rappers right now, the new 16, 17-year-old kids, that's who they rapping like. So when I was 17, 18, I was just rapping like whatever was hot on the radio. And it was gangster rap. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's not who I was. I wasn't a gangster for real. It was just rap. I didn't know I was going to get a record deal for real at the time. I didn't know that stuff was about to happen. So if you could, you'd be like, okay, let me undo everything, but you can't undo it. You can only push forward. And I came to a time in my life where I was like, okay, this is getting too real, and I'm not just rapping in my mom's basement no more. I gotta do something. I don't want to be known to the world as a gangster. I don't like making gangster rap. I mean, it was cool to rap for the homies on the block, and to hear cats like, oh, that was a hot punchline. You shot him in the head. You kicked in the door like Biggie. Like, yeah. But as I began to grow and evolve as a person, man, I was just like, if I die, I just remember seeing this obituary of this dude who was dead. And I remember seeing him on it, and he looked dead on this obituary. He was holding a bottle up, an alcohol bottle. And I think that's where my change came. I looked at that picture, and I'm like, this is what this man is. That's all they remember him as? I'm like, this man probably lived a whole life. And somebody took the picture of this man in a club holding a bottle up. And it's so his obituary, man. Oh, man. I'm like, of course not. I'm like, I don't want to die like that. I'm like, and I thought about me. I'm like, them all the pictures I got. Every picture I had was holding up a bottle or throwing up the sign that I didn't even know what I was throwing up my 2 fingers, the Illuminati thing. I'm throwing that up in all my pictures. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just drunk doing anything. And then that's when I had that life check. Like, what if I die right now? I'm just going to be known as this 300-pound man with these braids who was a gangster with these big old pants on.
Oh, man. That's real, though. That's so real.
Look, I'm going to be known as this big man with this big white T-shirt holding up a Moet bottle. No, what's the bottle with the little ducks on the front? The Grey Goose bottle.
Grey Goose, yeah.
With these sunglasses looking like a killer. And my story never got told because he really was not a killer. He really was intelligent. He really loved life. But that ain't what hey, listen, that's the image you was portraying. And at that moment, I was like, I can't be remembered like that. I'm like, I don't want to die like that. And if I die, I don't want to be remembered like that. And I remember going on my diet. I remember cutting my braids. I remember just wanting to live, wanting another shot at life, wanting to talk about the issues and the style that I really wanted to rap. Because what people don't know is the way Lupe raps, that's the stuff how I was really rapping and talking. That's how we spoke. The stuff I'm rapping about now, like New Day and New World and all this stuff y'all hearing from me, that's the stuff I really was doing. Those are the conversations we were having. But for the world, I was putting up this Moet bottle. Yeah, I got braids. I'm a gangster. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't who I was. And I was like, I got to change. And then I wanted to know God. I started, you know what I'm saying, wanting to know who God was. And I just wanted to live, man. And that's how the change came about. And it really wasn't like a change. Yeah, it was a change. It was a change. It was a change. But it was really just me being who I was in front of the world, who my mom knew who I was, the man my mother had raised, the nephew my uncles had influenced was coming out.
Yeah, you know.
Now I'm like, okay. Now I'm like, okay, I could die now. Now if I die, come on, let's go. But you ain't gonna remember me as no big dude, 300 pounds, telling people to bust a girl down and smoke a blunt that I'm not even smoking for real. And my picture looking all blurry. I look dead on my picture. The picture all old. The cameras ain't in yet. Camera phones wasn't in. I'm on a Polaroid picture that you buy from Walgreens, a Kodak picture. It look all blurry with a big T-shirt.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. Like, if I feel like with your whole transition and everything, and looking at your first two projects as gemstones, and if I had to pick one song a piece from both those projects, I would pick on the first one Bury Me a Gem, and then on the second one pick XL.
Lupe named that. Go ahead though.
Oh, and like even with Bury Me a Gem, like even like throughout the whole testimony, man, like you talk about your uncle, especially in Bury Me a Gem, and then you talk about living under your mom's roof and in this basement, and even when you said steady aging, shaving, trying to find youth, and that shit was just kind of crazy. Yeah, man, like because the thing was like I remember the first time I heard the testimony, man, like I was in the car with him. With my co-host here, and when I think it wasn't Bury Me, it was shit.
Good morning.
No, the one with Sarah Green on it.
Skeletons.
Which one is it?
Oh, Skeletons. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah, Skeletons, man. Yeah, man, and I was like, who is this? And you said, it's GemStones, and I'm like, who's GemStones? You said Gemini, and then I was just like amazed. And ever since then, like, I mean, I've always gone back to that mixtape, especially Bury Me a Gem. That one song, man, it's so crazy to me, man. Like the imagery, man, like, roaches spreading like a hot flu.
Yeah,
and everything.
Wow. I can't listen to that song sometimes because it just it just makes me think about certain things. I'm like, oh man, it's like one of them songs where like I really got to be in the mode to listen to Skeletons because that joint is crazy. Like, and so many songs like even the last song on that mixtape what was it, When I Get On, when you rap the Rich Boy beat. I think it was a Rich Boy beat and
Rich Boy beat.
Yeah, and I first got into you because you were like mad lyrical with it, and that song you weren't necessarily the most lyrical on it, but you were just like telling it just how it is, and I was like, oh man, like when I get on, like I felt that like deep inside, so I definitely thank you for that record right there.
And that's what, honestly, man, that's what God has called me to do, man. He has given me a gift to give it to the world the way I see it through these eyeballs. He has given me a testimony, and he said, "Don't sugarcoat it. You don't need no gimmicks. You ain't gotta be lyrical for them to feel you. You have the ability. I brought you in this at a time where you soaked it up. You understand hip hop. You understand rap. You can do it. Lupe is one of the most lyricalest persons you're gonna find. You were a part of that. You can do it. If you wanted to do Lupe, I can do. I am that.
Yeah.
When people hear from Lupe, I am that. I can do that and more. But God said, what I've called you to do. See, what I didn't know at the time, that life was going to do what it's doing now. The stuff that we're facing today, police brutality, kids, blacks killing blacks, I didn't know that this was getting ready to happen. But God said, I am what I am doing for you, Demarco. You don't know why you're making this change, but I'm getting ready to raise you up because the future is about to happen, and they need a voice. They need a voice. You don't even know what's about to happen in 2015. It's only 2009, but I need to switch you up now so you can be prepared when 2015 comes. So I don't need you to be lyrical, to catch it. It's already people doing that. I don't need you to do that. I need you to give it straight. Give it to them straight, like when you take Hennessy down. Like when you take gin, give it to them straight. They going to receive it. It's going to be real, and it's going to be given like no other rapper can do it the way you're doing it. It's going to be raw and uncut, the uncut proof. And it's going to plant seeds for generations to come. So when rap dies, it's your ministry. Yours is looked at more than just a rap song. It's like, this is bigger than rap. Skeletons is bigger than a rap song. That's real life.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear the song Selfish? The Suicide song?
That's on, I'm sure we have, which one is that on?
That's on
the latest album. No, it's on the last album I did. If you guys didn't hear it.
Oh, Blind Elephant.
I highly recommend you to do it. On your own time, though. There's no rush. It's here. The seed has been planted. The seed has been planted. You'll hear it, and it'll touch your soul. But I know what I was called to do.
Now, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go. I was
going to say, yeah, because your phone's about to die, so I just kind of wanted to get into the new album real quick. Now, you started off with the quick go in, and you just were just spitting just straight bars. It was like you spitting straight bars, and you were like, oh, okay, now I'm about to get into the intro. And then you got into the Believe joint. And one song that really stuck out to me was the New World joint. And that's when you kind of got into a lot of stuff like, certain things that stuck out to me about that particular song off of the Blind Elephant was you were talking about the reptilians, and you're talking about chemtrails, and you're talking about like the 85% and the 10% and the 5%. And I was like, man, this kind of reminds me of going back into the day when you listen to like Cannabis and Kill the Priest and like a lot of the 5% type stuff, and it seemed kind of influenced by that. So I was just wondering, like, where your mind was at.
Nothing but the conversations once again that Gemini and Lupe Fiasco was sitting in the car riding around Chicago having. All that that stuff had been there. I ain't doing nothing but opening up on some of the stuff that we was talking about already back in 2003, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09.
Feeling is here.
Yeah, son, you can feel it, man. Word up, son. You gotta just do it, yo. Yo, word up, man. It's a different channel, son. Word up, on, man. Word up, watch the channel, son. Different plane now, man.
It's all good.
Word up, all good, baby, in every hood, son. Word up, yo.
CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas, it's grown men. Bold face, gat in your face. Stay in place, yo. Crime lace. Cats more beef than Scarface. CNN, Network, Channel 10, it's on again. Street niggas, that's grown men. Bold face, gat in your face. Stay in place, yo, crime lace. Cats more beef.